being 41 and single and having your money right, having good credit score, being in the best shape of your life, it seems like at this point you should be with somebody. That's what I would think for myself. That's kind of the condition I am. I'm kind of in the best all-around shape I've ever been in my entire life. Financially, physically, never been this muscular. Mentally, though, this is different. And there's a lot of things that I could blame my singleness on. Because, like, look, let's face facts. I'm 41 and I have no kids. So, since I enjoy my freedom, I don't want a woman that has kids. That's understandable. Because I don't want children at all. I don't want to spend the rest of my prime, the 15, maybe 20 years I have left, raising a child. Which is understandable. And I like to travel. I like to be mobile. And like I said, I like my peace and my freedom. I've said this even if I didn't say it earlier. I've said it in plenty of videos before. So I could blame the circumstances that I'm going through right now because of, the market. Could blame the market. I could say, okay, I'm 41. So most women, and I've said this, what I'm about to say to you, I've said this before. Most women who are worth marrying at my age are already married. That's a fair statement, right? Also, most women my age that are worth marrying probably have a lot of them have kids. There are women who had made a huge mistake, messed with the wrong dude, who hooked up with the wrong guy, and now they have kids from a failed marriage or a failed relationship, or maybe even a failed one-night stand. Who knows? But and they learned their lesson, and now because of their children, they're having a harder time finding someone that they want. I could say that. That is true. That's fair, and we've all seen it. But the truth is, and I had to really do some soul searching. The problem is me. The problem is not the women, because yes, what I said about the women is true, but there are some good women left. Here's the problem. I don't care. Like, I have gotten so used to dabbling in promiscuity that I don't care about what good women are talking about. I don't care about good women. I overlook them. I have reached this point where I have a tunnel vision, and I look at sources of where I can have sex the fastest. And not only the fastest, but the easiest and the most frequent. I'm to the point now where if I don't think I can have sex with a woman more than once, more than twice, at least possibly 5 times, in the future, then I'm not going to mess with her. Of course, you really don't know what a woman's like until you get with her. But, so, what does that mean? If I want sex as quickly, as easily, and as frequently as I want, what type of women give it up easily? The marrying kind? No, it's not true. Usually it's the kind of women that I would want to stay away from the get-go. Most of my sex comes from deadbeat single moms. I just kind of went through a little, of course I couldn't, you can't really listen to them all, but just kind of like a mental backlog of the women I've messed with. And the women that mess with me most frequently, where does most of my sex come from? And the women that hit me up again and again and again and that I've been messing with for over years, most of them are deadbeat single moms. What is a deadbeat single mom? A single mom who either doesn't have custody of her kids or has legal custody of her kids and just usually never has physical possession of them. I could do a whole deep dive of why that is, but that's a whole nother video. That's a rant. That's what that is. So I'm purposely messing with women, and I told you, I like I just said earlier, I don't want a woman with kids, but here I am consistently messing with women with children. That's me, knowing that I don't want a relationship with a woman with children. That's on me, because I want a quick peace. That's it. Like there's no way that I can overlook that fact. And I talk to other single men who kind of complain about the same thing. Now they have different problems than me. Some of them do. Some of them have the exact same problem as I do. The exact same problem. They want to mess around, and so they just totally ignore the good women. Because most good women, to us who have been out in these streets, are boring. Women who party girls like to have sex a lot. Girls who don't party as much, they stay in, they're quiet. You don't see them, but I do see them, and I do identify who they are at the gas station, at the grocery store, especially, sometimes at the gym. There are good women, and fellas, I'm telling you this so you do not lose hope. Now, how you become a man that they want, that's a whole different video. I have managed some of that simply by being in better shape and dressing better. Those two things, being in better shape and dressing better, has got me a lot further. In fact, this is a whole different video, but like, for example, it was Greensboro homecoming at A&T University last week. Instead of going out and partying, I decided to drive for Lyft. I drive for Lyft, for income. Now, you know how women already have this, when a woman sees you as a Lyft driver, sometimes they don't even see you as a real, actual human being. But because the way I was dressed and my build, and of course, I'm gonna lie, I wore a shirt that showed off my muscles. I was, to some women, not only was I noticeable as a man, I was actually preferred as a man. And I actually had one time where a woman who, she said she was 32 and I'm, 41. She was actually kind of tripping over trying to shoot her shot to me. And her friends were actually verbally in front of me coaching her on what questions to ask. And it was, for lack of a better word, it was cute. Like, it was like, wow, this woman is really getting giggly and girly over trying to talk to me. And that's something that is a rare experience for me. Especially a girl that, she actually looked decent. Fat titties, fat booty, bro. Okay, I'm gonna stop. But the problem is mine. Getting back to topic, the problem is mine of why I'm single. Because I keep messing with women that I don't need to be with. And when I first started trying to become a hoe, I set out to be the best possible hoe as I could. I was real with myself. I said, okay, I know that I'm not supposed to be promiscuous. I know my parents raised me that I'm not supposed to be having sex before marriage. I'm going to do this anyway, and I'm going to be the best at it as I can. And that sounds terrible from a moral perspective, but this was one moral that I decided to compromise. This is one of my original values that I decided to compromise. And And really, it's there's good morals and there's bad morals. A moral is simply, I forgot what the official definition is. In fact, hold on, I'm going to look. Okay, I had to get the official definition. The definition of a moral is a person's standards of behavior or beliefs concerning what is and what is not acceptable for them to do. So having morals doesn't necessarily that you have good morals. Because like if my morals were, I believe I should cheat anybody, I should cheat everybody in every opportunity I get to fill my pockets with money. If those were my morals, that if I didn't cheat somebody, then I would be going against my own morals of what I believe was right. So I changed my moral compass to something that was not good. I said, this is how I'm going to behave. And I got focused on it, and I got really good at doing it. So now I'm laying in the bed that I created. So here we are. Here we are, and here it is. So what am I going to do going forward? I'm not sure. But I am not going to blame women or my circumstances outside of what I control personally for me being single. And fellas, I suggest that you don't either. Uncle Stepbro out.